like IMG. Hey, you battle tested, you ain't bad at test. Come and play against the best and from the generation next. Hey, hopping all on Facebook, not going for that flex. When a tough game get set, we do our best to try to pull up where they at. Hey, you ain't get no invite, just sitting around hanging. What you thinking? You ain't in if you ain't in them power rankings. Hey, yeah, it get lit. Hey, hotter than a sauna. Hey, try again next year, you might get a call from Jonah. Hey, but it ain't no way, you gotta come outside and play. Hey, if they can come to you, then go and play them games away. Hey, yeah, in December, that's when ain't nobody say. Hey, think I'm just talking, I just got off live with Clay. Hey, yeah, I go crazy on that highlight, they rewind me, they come and find me, and then invite me to wine. See, I came for MVP to have the whole league behind me. Done played in big places like IMG. Hey, yeah, battle tested, you ain't bad at test. Come and play against the best and from the generation next. Hey, hopping all on Facebook, not going for that flex. When a tough game get set, we do our best to try to pull up where they at. Hey, yeah, yeah. I see. Generation next, I see. Yeah, I see. Generation next, I see. Hey, hey, yeah. Generation next, I see.
Talking all that junk, boy. They were talking all that junk. They popped it out. We really #1.
Hey, and welcome to Generation X Youth Sports Network. I'm Jonah Willard as we get ready to bring you some 13 and under action here out of Virginia, Maryland Heat in the gold and red, and Brick City Lions out of New Jersey in the royal blue. Ball is up, and that will go out of bounds. A legal procedure. They'll have some options there. Have them re-kick it or take the ball for possession. So you're joining us for opening quarter. Go ahead and share the live. Make sure everybody gets to see this 13 and under action going down. We've been really wanting to see how this 13 and under age division is going to really pan out ever since we had some changes with the DEA team that came in at preseason number 1. You know, this particular age division has been up in the air for grabs. And so today is no exception as these teams try to just establish their dominance in this age division. Let's take a look at this Brick City Lions team, and let's take a look at their offense and see how Maryland comes out there to defend them. And some movement on the line. Back him up 5 yards. So that'll make it 1st and 15 for Brick City. Player in motion for Brick City. Hand off to the left-hand side, has some room, and he'll be hit by a host of Heat players behind the 40-yard line, playing with a lot of energy early in this game. Hand off right-hand side, not a lot of room as this Heat defense has been strong up front. This front seven really giving the Lions some problems to block up front early in this contest. Third and 13 Lions. Quarterback's in shotgun. Rolls to his right. Has some room to run. Flags on the play. Woo, and big hit right at the 50-yard line as these kids are putting pads on each other. But that's usually in the holding area right there. Let's see what the call is. And it will be hold against the Lions. They'll elect to back him up. So it gives a big mountain for the Lions to climb right now as they'll back them up all the way to the 30-yard line. They'll need to get across midfield to the other 45-yard line for a first. Quarterback back to pass for the Lions. Has some pressure. Rolls out the pocket. Flags down again on the field. Looks like they're going to call holding once again as a player was really wrestled down from behind at the line of scrimmage. Then some aggressive hitting by this Maryland Heat defense early in this game as they escort a Lions player down again. So that's going to be another 10 yards against this Lions offense. Back-to-back holding plays, backed them up 20 yards just in penalties. So digging themselves a big hole. And Maryland Heat will decline that penalty this time. They wanted to be 4th down. And so Lions going to bring in the special teams. They're going to bring the punt team in now. And punt is up. Takes a bounce. Gets just across the 40-yard line. That is where Maryland Heat will set up their offense with 7 minutes and 4 seconds in the first quarter of action. Score 0-0. He sets up wide receivers to each the bottom and the top of the screen. 2 backs in the backfield. Handoff to the right-hand side. Has some room. Cuts his fit up. And gets across the 50-yard line as he was able to ride the block off the tackle. And that's enough to move the chains for the Maryland Heat. Hurry up offense for Maryland Heat. They won't waste any time. They'll get to the line of scrimmage right away, trying to prevent the Lions for substituting and really trying to get a good read on what they're trying to do. So Lions will leave in their original personnel. Maryland Heat will call their play from the sideline. And looks like they might have drawn the Lions off sides. Let's see what the call is. Let's see the call. Some discussion out on the football field. Looks like it's offside blue. Nope. Excuse me. That's going to be false start offense. So that play goes against the Heat. We'll back them up 5 yards. First and 15, Maryland Heat. Quarterback back to pass. Blitz is on, right up the middle. Number 56 puts his big paw out and swats that ball down as there was a lot of pressure coming up the middle by the Lions. Aggressive play on that defensive front by Brick City. 56 is a big boy. That's a lot of person to block right there at the defensive tackle position for Brick City. And that makes it very difficult for a quarterback because, like they're always coached, it's to step up in the pocket. Well, how can you step up in the pocket when it's really collapsing from the middle? Handoff left-hand side. Stats in the pocket. And some nifty running by number 0 as Maryland Heat is able to really establish this run against this Brick City defense. Handoff left-hand side. And that's going to be a first down. They convert a fourth down conversion. Needed 2, they got 4. Hand off to the right hand side, and that's going to be a foot race. He cuts back in, and great block by the wide receiver number 2, and he'll escort the Maryland Heat running back in the end zone with ease as Maryland Heat goes up 6-0 with a big run that was spotted all the way back from the 36-yard line. So 36-yard touchdown for the Maryland Heat. Handoff left-hand side. Extra point is good. So your score is 8-0, Maryland Heat, Brick City 0. Ball fielded, still on his feet. Gets to around the 35-yard line. Late flag comes in. Handoff right up the middle, has some room, makes one player miss, gets to around the 45-yard line. Nice run as Alliance offensive line was able to open a nice hole for the running back to get maybe a 6-yard gain. 3 minutes and 9 seconds in the first quarter as the Lions trail the Heat, trying to get something going on themselves. Very nice play drawn up by the Lions. Heat showing blitz. And that's going to be offside. Heat.
Coach, you can't see over there. Let it go. You cannot see way over there. And you in the backfield.
So offsides Heat. They'll mark him up 5 yards. That's enough for a first down for the Lions. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line. Handoff once up again up the middle, making players miss in and out. Nifty moves by this running back for the Lions. Number 1 showing you why he is rocking that number 1 jersey, as no one was able to get a hand on him. 3 different in and out moves, and he's able to get right before the first down marker. They gave him forward progress right at the 30-yard line, 2nd and 1. Number 1 in motion, and that's going to be a false start as number 34 for the Lions took a back step. So that'll back him up 5 yards. So instead of a 2nd and 1, that's now going to be 2nd and 6 for the Lions as they're trying to respond to that touchdown of the Maryland Heat. Quarterback throws a slant. Oh, and he is clobbered by 2 defenders as the safety came over to make a play as well. So incomplete on the play. Going to bring up 3rd and 6. Quarterback locked in early on his wide receiver, and both defenders kind of read the eyes of the quarterback and was able to come back to that ball quick in a hurry. Minute and 4 seconds left. in this first quarter of action. The score is 6-0, 8-0, excuse me, Maryland Heat over the Lions. Handoff once again to number one, and every time he touches the ball, something special happens, and that's going to be enough for the first. They'll move the chains for the Lions. And so you can see the philosophy of this Lions offense, that if they're going to be successful, number one has to touch the ball. So they found something special going to that right-hand side of their offensive line, and number one feels very comfortable of giving them some very nice runs. And that's going to be delay of game. Took a long time to get that play off. So they'll back them up 5 yards. Every time they take a step forward, seems they're doing something to really take a step back. Before it was a false start, now a delay of game. It's going to make it 1st and 15 for the Lions. And that's going to do it for the first quarter, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the books between Maryland Heat and Brick City. The score is 8-0 Maryland Heat. Let's get ready for some second quarter action.
Look at that drip, yo. Look at that drip, boy. There you go. In that cane. Hit it one time. Yeah.
It's not spinning.
You gotta get, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
And off number one once again, he'll get out to the 25-yard line.
Yo, wasn't we 2nd and 5? I mean 1st and 5? So we went back 10? That's what I'm saying.
And off the number one once again, he has some open field. Plants the field north and south, cuts back in. But looks like he'll have another first down, and he has been the workhorse for this Lions offense. Every time he's touched the ball, it's been positive yards. Handoff left-hand side. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Breaks the tackle. Still on his feet. Some good yak yards for the Lions as it was hit at the point of tap, but he was able to keep his feet going. Gains about 6 yards on the play. That's going to bring up 2nd and 4. Lions can get a first around the 4-yard line. So still can get another fresh set of downs if they take their time, and I would imagine so they're being successful on the ground. You're going to see them trying to pound this in. It looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field. Coach wants to talk about it. He knows this is an opportunity that they want to make sure they capitalize on. Handoff left-hand side, cuts back up the middle. And that will be a gain of 3. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 1 for the Lions. Remember again, ladies and gentlemen, they can get a first down with the 1 yard. And listen, not only do they get the first, they get a touchdown. Touchdown, Lions. Running behind Gabe Kemp. This kid is electrifying on the 13 and under division. Every time he touches the ball, expect positive things to happen. So the score is now 6-8 as the Lions try to make sure they can tie it up here with the conversion of the extra point. And we get another timeout. Lions want to make sure they get every point that's coming to them. They'll talk about it on the sideline. Generation X when we come back. And we get ready to line up for the extra point. Lions trying to tie up the game. Quarterback rolls out. Goes to the back of the end zone. In and out of the hands of the Wood receiver. He jumped up like a ballerina and came down like a frog. Man, no catch. So that keeps your score at 6-8. Maryland Heat. Well-designed play. As coach was able to draw it up, had a receiver streaking towards the back or across the back of the end zone. Well delivered ball, and just, hey, listen, receiver went up to jump up. And a lot of times these receiver coaches will tell you, hey, listen, if you don't have to jump, don't leave your feet. Let's just get the ball in. We don't have to look pretty while we're doing it. Let's just do it. So now we have a ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Lions come back down behind the running of Gabe, number 1 of the Lions. And like I told you, he's probably averaging at least 8 to 9 yards a carry if you take the average of his runs. So Maryland Heat is going to need to kind of get to the drawing board to see how they can slow him down. But that has been a positive for the Lions. Now on the Heat side, look, the Heat came down there and drove the field with ease. capped off with a 36-yard touchdown, and it was no signs of stopping that Heat offense. So let's see what teams made the adjustments. Let's see if the Lions were able to make some adjustments from the last time they've seen this Heat offense out on the football field. Nice kick. Ball will be fielded at the 25-yard line. Has some block. He has some block. Still on his feet. Oh, and he'll get pushed out of bounds close to around the 35-yard line. But an excellent run back for the Maryland Heat. Got some fans who are screaming for pushing it back, but can't do any Saturday refereeing. They will not allow it. I can promise you that. You can scream all you want, but they're not going to take any of your calls. Hand off to number 3. He's tackled in the backfield, maybe a loss of 3 to 4 yards, as the Lions are all over that. Tackle by number 24, big time open field tackle. Six minutes and 27 seconds in the second quarter. Quarterback back to pass. One-on-one fade route. Throws it up for grabs and incomplete on the play. Under through it. He tried to come back to the ball, couldn't get there. And that's a tall receiver, so they're looking for that mismatch. Defensive back a lot shorter than the Maryland Heat's receiver, so look forward for them to go back to that matchup. Maryland Heat in shotgun. Single receivers to the top and the bottom of the screen. 2 backs in the backfield. Handoff to the left-hand side. Has some room. Cuts up the middle. Accelerates. Still on his feet. Gets across the 25-yard line. Still not enough for a first, but a very good run. They'll be short maybe 2 yards of the first. That's going to bring up 4th and 2. It's decision time for the Maryland Heat. Same formation once again. Quarterback's in shotgun. Handoff. And he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. And they won't get it. They won't get it as number 24 making 2 big plays on this drive. And that changes the complexity of that running game as number 24 for the Lions is all over it. So 1st and 10, Lions. Now Lions have an opportunity to, maybe take the lead of this game now. Last time they were out on the football field, riding behind Gabe Kemp, very successful. And they'll run a reverse this time, and it's wide open. Still on his feet. Gets across the 40. Gets to the 50. cuts back, gets across the 45 all the way out to maybe the 41-yard line. Nice design play as they ran a reverse. And take a look at it here, ladies and gentlemen, as they were able to catch the Maryland Heat's defense off guard. Got sucked in all the way to the right. And, man, what a very well-designed play. And he had nothing but green pasture in front of him. Excellent job for the Maryland Heat defenders be able to get off that block, because you could have almost count that as a TD. But a very well-designed play by the Lions. So now with 5 minutes and 17 seconds in the second quarter, very interesting to see how these defensive coordinators try to stop both of these offenses, which seem to be clicking right now. Handoff right up the middle. And some good blocking by this Lions offensive line. They're really digging in and just trying to play some bully ball right now. And doing some good old blue collar work there. 8 yards on the gain, 2nd and 2. And coming up next after this matchup, guys, 14U matchup you won't want to miss. Keep it locked right here. Handoff once again. Bobs and weaves trying to get to that first down mark, and he does. That should be enough for a first down. Let's see what they call it. And he does. Chains move once again for the Lions. The Lions have been successful in their last 2 drives as so forth is moving the ball. So 4 minutes and 16 seconds in this first half of play. The Lions want to do 2 things here. Of course, eat up some yards, but also eat up some clock. The more they can go ahead and take their time on this, and they call this a 4-minute offense, if they can go ahead and control the clock, eat some time, and score, it prevents that talented Maryland Heat offense being back on the football field. And timeout Blue. And in preseason, I hope Blue knows he only has 3 timeouts in preseason in the game, not to have. Blue seems to be giving those things like blue chips. So I haven't really paid attention to him. Blue, how many timeouts is that, ref? Got 1 left? Okay, all right. Well, not doing that bad. They got 1 left. So 1st and 10, 4 wide receivers for Brick City. Handoff right up the middle, makes one player miss, drives his feet for another 2 yards. You got to just love the work ethic of this back, man. Number 1, Gabe, this kid is very talented, but he's a tough runner. Runs in between the tackles and keeps his feet going north and south. Quarterback back to pass. Blitz coming on, and they get him. Maryland Heat dialed up a blitz, and man, oh man, they came there and just swallowed the quarterback up with ease. So that'll be maybe a loss of, let's see what they mark it, maybe a loss of 3, bringing up 2nd and 13. And timeout, Maryland Heat. They'll want to talk about it. When we return, we'll bring you the rest of this last 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the first half right here on Generation X, U Sports Network.
Yeah, bring her back, ayy. We gon' do the dad, ayy. Pull up that Chevelle, put that Lambo on they ass, ayy. Yeah, make 'em mad, ayy. We gon' do 'em bad, ayy. Brr, hit the gas, try that Lambo, you gon' crash, ayy. Yeah, bring her back, ayy. We gon' do the dad, ayy. Pull up that Chevelle, put that Lambo on they ass, ayy. Yeah, make 'em mad, ayy. We gon' do 'em bad, ayy. Brr, hit the gas, try that Lambo, you gon' crash, ayy. Yeah, on the game, we gon' stand behind, but posted in the cut. I'm with big grip, no matter what. Yeah, fully loaded, we got DJ, that's a plus. Ayy, brr, yeah. Trey, he a dog, you a mutt, yeah. Leads 1, 2 litty. Put that bag on, say ticket, ayy. Marco in the building, yeah. Mello, that's the real one, yeah. Big 6, steady going up, it ain't no ceiling, yeah. You don't got a guy that's gon' run up on Makai. Brr, Lolo, Kenja, and Carter, we got all dogs. Bit it all, he not going toe-to-toe with Ball Hall, ayy, yeah.
Quarterback back to pass, throws it out to the flats. Ball is tipped. Excellent play by the Maryland Heat defensive end as he was able to get a hand on the ball. Number 11 stretches up and climbs a ladder. Heads up play by the Maryland Heat defender. Brings up 4th down for the Lions. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this first half of play. 4th down situation for Brick City. They need 12 to convert. They'll come out in a 4 wide receiver set. 3 wide receivers to the bottom of the screen, 1 receiver to the top. Quarterback scans the field. Calls to the ball. Rolls to his right. Pressure's coming on, and he'll get swallowed up. Big sack by the Heat as he tried to look downfield, and they bought 5 and won the numbers game against that Lions offensive line. Turnover on downs, Maryland Heat. Now you would have imagined with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in this first half that Maryland Heat is going to want some points. They're not going to want to end this half too close for comfort. So don't be surprised if we see the quarterback coming out slinging the ball here for the Maryland Heat 13 and under team. And Brick City feels the same way. They're in a deep cover too. They'll hand off the ball. Not a lot of room there. And he's still on his feet, breaks out a lot of tackles, but he will not get back to the original line of scrimmage as all 11 men for the Lions were swarming to the ball. Both of these defensive fronts, both these front sevens are playing some football today. Very aggressive football, and not only playing aggressive football, when they get there, they're laying the hit. Quarterback back to pass. And looks like there was some confusion there. Incomplete on the play. 4 wide receivers for the Heat. Quarterback calls his own number. Stays on his feet, gets across the 50-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down. They needed 10 yards. He got 11. Hand off to the right-hand side. Maybe 7 on the play. Flags are going to be against the defense. They were substituting players. Did not get off the field fast enough. Quarterback calls his own number once again. Runs in between the tackle right behind the center. Has some success there as he gets across the 30-yard line, maybe at the 27-yard line, but the clock is ticking, 33 seconds, and no teams has a timeout now. So they're going to need to manage these last seconds very carefully. He spikes the ball, and that will stop the clock at 23 seconds. So that's going to bring up so ball is 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 23-yard line with 23 seconds left in the first half. Quarterback back to pass. Looks to the corner. Corner route. Has a receiver. And it is a catch. Wow. Ball caught at the 8-yard line, and he goes out of bounds. So that will stop the clock. Textbook pass and catch of how you would want to manage a clock going in for a score. So now the ball will be spotted at the 8-yard line, but what a catch by the Maryland Heat paper. What great ball placement by the quarterback. "14 seconds left in the first half. They'll need to be very careful of where they throw this ball because they don't want to get tackled in the field of play." Quarterback back to pass, throws it across the middle. Intercepted. It's coming back the other way. And he's showing some speed, and he's caught by the quarterback. If it wasn't for the speed of the quarterback, that would have been a pick 6. Oh, my gosh, that kid had some burners. But what a play by Brick City to bend but don't break. Backs all the way up against the wall, comes with a big pick and brings the wall back the other way. And man, oh man. That's something that won't really come up in the stat sheets, but they really just kind of kept themselves in the ball game, not wanting to go down multiple scores. So I would imagine that the Lions are probably going to just take a knee with these last 5 seconds to get out of here for the half. But great defensive play by both of these teams throughout the day. But what a great interception by the Lions. And that'll do it for the first half of action. Your score is 8-6. The Heat over Lions.
Before we built the Youth National Championship, you couldn't win a league agnostic national championship in the sport. So we set out to build that.
If you're the man in your city and you go to the YNC, you're gonna realize that you're just the man in your city. Like everybody's the man in their city, and you're gonna have to prove it down here at the YNC.
These two teams are playing each other, and there's $150,000 cash bet in the stand for the win.
It's that time! It is that time to trust him!
We've built something that is truly special and gives kids the opportunity to go and play at the next level, get the kind of exposure that we want them to get, give a framework that is professional with a high level of integrity for families and parents and kids to come and play, at the same time keeping it as real as it can be.
Let's go! Get on board!
We don't give a fuck. We gonna win. It don't matter. We win. We run this shit. You understand? Let's go. You run through his motherfucking ass. You hit him in the head and you run.
We're the number one team in the nation. Yeah! You look good! You play good!
Every Power 5 program in the country probably has a kid that has come through the YNC umbrella, either on their roster or they're on their recruiting board.
Hey, bro, we know nobody can fuck with us, bro. I love y'all, bro.
If you don't win at the YNC, there is no way you can say you're the best in the country, period.
When we step on the motherfucking field, we busting heads, we ask questions later. There is no tomorrow for us.
And I believe I put together the 35 baddest motherfuckers in the South Florida. And now we're on the big stage.
They get tall track, but then when they see this, they go hush.
And the Lions kick the ball off to the Heat. Ball's fielded and dropped at the 20-yard line, picks it up. Still on his feet, gets across the 35-yard line, and that is where the Maryland Heat will set up their offense at the beginning of the second half with a marginal lead over the Lions 8-6. Lions have basically been able to contain the Maryland Heat after their big run that was earlier in the first half. Excellent defensive play by their front seven has been able to keep this Maryland Heat offense in check. Let's see if there's any adjustments that's been made offensively by this Maryland Heat team, as they have a couple of really skilled players that can break it in the open field at any time. He come out, split backs. Hand off left hand side to number 0, and he'll be lassoed down across the 42-yard line as he was able to pick up some momentum, and that's maybe a gain of 5 yards, so that'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Maryland Heat. Top of the third quarter, 9 minutes and 33 seconds in the third quarter. Scores 8-6 if you're just joining the broadcast. And make sure next week, Thursday, if you appreciate youth football on any level, the official national rankings drop 10 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you keep it locked. You won't want to miss who are the top teams in the country. Listen, we always say the road to the championship starts week 1. No exception this year. 2023 national championship will run through the actual top rankings just like, oh, and nice hook and ladder right there. A little razzle-dazzle. And that is why, and that's how they drew it up. And he's still on the football field. And man, oh man, oh man, there's no flags on the play.
Something wake me up finally.
And just when they heard Clay complaining in the booth that it was a yarn fest, they turned over here, they're waving at Clay. Now, is that what you wanted, Clay? Well, man, it woke up. Now, listen, I can tell you if this was the YNC National Championship game, they probably would throw a red flag out on there because his foot looked close out of bounds. But, hey, listen, I commentate. I don't ref. So I can't call nothing dead. I can't throw no flags. I can just tell you what I see. And what I see right now is upstretched hands by these referees signaling touchdown for the Maryland Heat. And, listen, give an A for creativity. And another A for number 3, just with his in and outs. Never gave up on the play. Just did his thing. And that's the way you start a second half of football. 14-6 is your score right here on Generation X U Sports Network. Here's the point after attempt. Quarterback's in shotgun. Blitz comes off the edge. Number 3 shakes and bakes and drives himself in for the extra point. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The score is now 16-6. The timekeeper is standing up in the box. We got energy flowing back through the stadium. Let's see now how the Lions respond to the Heat just coming out there and putting up some points. When we come back, action, kickoff, third quarter action, 16-6, Heat over the Lions. Exactly. We're in the press box talking about what old school album do you appreciate that you could play from beginning to end. The consensus up here in the press box, we was talking about Chronic, Snoop and Dre. What album could you guys play from beginning to end and not have to turn off one song? And that will be kicked out of bounds, so illegal procedure. So they will give the Lions some options. Do you want them to re-kick it, or do you want to take the ball and then start your offense? So, yeah, y'all tap in. Tell me an album that you think you can just put in from track 1 to track 15, whatever it is, and just ride out. You know, because half of these albums you get nowadays, man, hear one track, you got to skip to number 12 before you hear something else with some action. You really bought an album for really 3 songs. So, man, it's, 1 or 2 songs. So y'all chap in. Tell me if we forget some albums that you could just really ride out to. Oh, yeah, I like the Blueprint. Blueprint was dope. Okay. All right, here we go. Brick City. Ball is on the ground. Quarterback trying to just gather himself. Won't be able to as the Heat are all over him. That momentum has come on the Heat sidelines after that big hook and ladder play. Yeah, I like that get rich or die trying. That was definitely a vibe. The inspiration, huh, Trap? So the score is 16-6.
Hurry up!
And timeout. Yeah, Reasonable Doubt is definitely a classic. Timeout, Brick City. So Brick City's definitely going to want to talk about this. I think that play for Maryland Heat just kind of woke them up. Some creativeness. And listen, the kids can always get live once the coach let them have some fun. That's something you draw up in practice. You know, and they hardly ever use in games. You know, the players got to come beg the coaches. Hey, coach, man, can we run that hook and ladder, man? You know, and coach usually shut them down. Nah, man, just hey, run the plays I send you. So listen, it just really gets them, gets them into the game when they can have some input and have a little fun with it. So right now, Maryland Heat definitely adrenaline-wise and momentum-wise in control of the game. Pitch to the left, cuts back in. Breaks one tackle, but not too much as Gabe crosses the 40-yard line. If you're just joining the broadcast, it is the Maryland Heat 13 and under in the yellow, taking on the Brick City Lions in the royal blue. Quarterback back to pass, 1-on-1. He's behind the defense. It is a catch. Wow. Number 7 out stretches for the ball. Take a look at this play. This is an NFL ESPN type of catch as he outstretches for the ball and brings it in. Nice delivery by the quarterback. Gets behind the defense, stretches out off his fingertips, and brings it in. Big time play by a big time player. Quarterback handoff, draw play, and a solid tackle because it looked like Gabe was about to hit that second gear, but before he could, tackled with a 5-yard gain. That brings up 2nd and 5 for this Lions offense. But you can just tell Gabe keeps defenders and the defensive coordinator on the edge of their seat because they know at any play, if you let him get to the second level, he causes problems. Boom, makes one player miss, still on his feet. But good team tackling against this talented running back, and that's the only way you can stop Gabe is really just getting a lot of men to the football. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 2. Third and 2 for the Lions. 5 minutes and 27 seconds. Handoff right up the middle, and he'll get to the markers, and that should be enough for a first down as he was able to move the chains for the Lions. First and 10 from the 19-yard line. Lions in the red zone. Maryland Heat shows blitz. And that's going to be a false start as the wide receiver took off for the Lions. And as always I say, wide receivers should never be offsides, as their only thing is to key in on the snap of that ball, not by any cadence sound. So that's going to bring up 1st and 15 for the Lions. Ball spotted close to around the 24-yard line. They can get a first at the 9-yard line to keep the chains moving once again. Quarterback back to pass, steps up in the pocket, and he's swallowed up. Big sack by number 11. Big time action by the Maryland Heat defensive front as they are playing lights out football. Number 11 and number 44 having a meeting at the quarterback. Draw play, not for much at all. Maryland Heat playing stingy football defensively right now. They're not able to get that momentum which they had in the first half going against this Heat defense. You know, a lot of penalties. You have your false starts backing up. You know, blocking the backs or the holding calls. Those things have added up. And once you get this Maryland Heat team knowing that you're going to be in a passing situation, that defensive line is just going to pin their ears back and collapse the pocket, and bad news for the opposing quarterback. Quarterback back to pass, steps up in the pocket, delivers, and it's caught. Has some blocks, still on his feet, and he gets very close to the first down marker, but then he ended up going backwards, you know, losing yards trying to get around the defenders. He had the first and stepped back behind the first down marker, but he still may have it. Let's see where they mark him at. 4th down. It's going to be 4th and inches. 4th and inches. A very nice pass from the quarterback. Great catch from the receiver. Receiver had the first, just ran backwards trying to get more yards. And we got a timeout on the play, man. Action heating up here in Virginia. Maryland Heat, Brick City Lions.
Come on, bro. Come on, let's go, bro. Come on, let's go. Where's that time? It is that time to drop that hammer.
And that will do it for first. Now it will be first and goal for Brick City. 1 minute and 34 seconds in the third quarter.
Hurry up! Hurry up!
I formation, handoff to the second back. Handoff right up the middle. Not a lot of room there, but enough to push it for maybe 2 yards. That's going to bring up second and goal. The ball is spotted close around the 5-yard line.
Hurry up! Hurry up!
Handoff the number 1 right up the middle. And gets down to maybe the 1-yard line. Third and goal. Third and goal. And that will be fourth quarter. So they'll flip fields or flip the side of the field. When we come back, we'll bring you fourth quarter action. Heat Lions right here on Generation X.
You ain't never in the city, how the f you niggas active? I be hollering free little sunny till I'm screaming that shit backwards. How you sliding, ain't nobody dying, that's a cap of rapper. These lollipop, and I better yet, them boys the rapper. If I call it, it's disaster. Nobody matters. Can't catch my drift, I be swerving right there past it. You sent them boys to crash, oh that's your ass, go get the powder. I rock to make them ends meet, Lanai ain't tryna battle. I pick you.
I want to talk about them Texas and Florida boys. Come check us out. Yeah, check us out. Yeah.
And we get ready for this third down, fourth quarter action. Brick City at the 1-yard line. Quarterback under center, tries to get behind, and that's going to be maybe what they call pushing and evading. Let's see what they call. And that's exactly what he calls. So you can't go behind a player and put hands on his pads and actually push him. Now you can get and drive the other player, but as long as you're not pushing your individual player to push and assist. So that's a 5-yard penalty. They had to back them up just as they were close. And excuse me, that's a 10-yard penalty. Excuse me, that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. That backs him up from the 1-yard line to the 16-yard line and a loss of down. So that's going to be even more expensive than a grounding play when you have loss of down. So that's very expensive coming back from the 1-yard line all the way back to 16-yard line. So Blue will call timeout. They'll need to talk about it. Different mindset going from the 1, from the 16. Let's see how they adjust right here on Generation X Youth Sports Network. Runs the reverse this time, and he's tackled for a big loss. Didn't fool him this time as they tried to get Gabe involved with a reverse, and they'll lose majorly on that one. Tackled by number 11, who's been all over the field for the Heat. So you go from the 1-yard line all the way back to the 25-yard line from a penalty to a pitch or double reverse that you ran a little bit earlier, and paying some heavy dividends with that penalty and that play. So now brings up 4th and forever, still 4th and goal, but from the 25-yard line. Quarterback back to pass. The rush is on. Tremendous pressure, and he'll go down back to the 40-yard line. And the wheels are falling off for the Lions as you see the body language of number 4. He's in disbelief, just staring at his offensive line like, man, I need a little help here as the Heat defense is swarming right now. run right up the middle to the 31-yard line. Yeah. Handoff right to the left-hand side. Has some room, and he's going to have – he had the alley there, and I think he went to showboating before he got to the end zone. And got tackled at the 1. I think that's one of the plays where he's going to have to go back. There's flags back at the line of scrimmage. But I think he went to go showboat and then got caught at the 1-yard line. But that will not even go into existence because that flag is going to be at the original line of scrimmage, and let's see what the call is. And that looks like holding. So they'll back him up 10 yards. So ball will be spotted at the 45-yard line. 6 minutes and 32 seconds left in this contest as the Heat maintaining a 16-6 lead over the Lions. Handoff left-hand side. Big collision there at maybe the 33-yard line. Brings up third and 4 for the Heat. Hand off to number 0, right-hand side. Tackled at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1. That's going to bring up 4th and short for the Maryland Heat. Clock is winding down with 5 minutes and 11 seconds left in this contest. So now the clock becomes an issue for this Lions team. Becomes their biggest enemy. They need to definitely get a stop here and get the ball back if they want to make any type of difference or, get back into this game. It starts right here with the stop. Look for the Heat to give it to number 0 once again, maybe to that right-hand side. That's where they've been successful, where they pull a tackle and run off tackle with number 0. That's been a very strong play for this Maryland Heat offense. They're looking like they're trying to take their time now, eat some time off the clock as they're taking some time in the huddle. Clock is all the way down to 4:26 right now. And they'll call a timeout. Yeah, yellow. Hand off left-hand side. And that's the play that's been working for him. And it breaks into the wide open now. Back and forth. And this time he won't showboat. He'll go ahead and score it. But that's been their bread and butter. Maryland Heat goes up 22-6 over Brick City. Quarterback back to pass. Oh, and incomplete. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, the rest of the Heat versus the Lions right here on Generation X U Sports Network.